इतना कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। Franchise India, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to each and everyone for joining us today for our webinar series. We hope that everybody is safe and sound. Franchise India is Asia's largest integrated franchise solution and business solution company. We were the first company to introduce and develop franchise market in India. We completely focus on franchisee ecosystem for last 23 years. And we truly claim that no one sells more business than us because we have helped more than 5,000 international and national brands to expand their wings and franchise opportunity with our 80 plus offices. And we have helped more than 78,000 investors in getting the business solutions and suggestions from our site. With this introduction, I also welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am. Gaurav sir, he's the chairman of Franchise India, and Sonia ma'am, she's the founder of Francwork. Today, during the webinar, they'll be sharing their insights, viewpoint with us. I also welcome and invite Miss Venus. She's a CEO of Fran Global India. She'll be the part of this particular webinar. The brand which we are representing for each one of you today is Fernwood Fitness. The brand which was launched its first club in 1989. Presently, they have 69 clubs in Australia and they have 70K membership. And we invite and welcome Ms. Diana, who will be talking about this great brand she has presented today. But before I formally invite the team to present their business model with us, I would like to invite Sonia ma'am to talk about our program which we have started for our investors under Advantage program and the Bharat Franchise Show, which we are bringing for each one of you. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am, for joining in today. Over to you.
Thank you, Ashna. And friends, we just, in fact, concluded with our Investor Advantage session. We did for almost an hour before we started this webinar. So I'll just quickly say, this Investor Advantage program is a session or maybe a program where every investor can get themselves registered. And at Franchise India, we understand, buying a business is a very challenging time. In these challenging times, it's a very difficult situation, and it's a one-time opportunity which every investor has for the life savings here. So through our Investor Advantage program, you can register yourself and you can take advice from our independent franchise consultants and also advisors at Franchise India, which will help you evaluate your right fitment for that opportunity, where we work with you on giving you complete analysis of the brand that you invest in, the industry, the market, and also your own self-assessment. So friends, you can reach on the hotline number. And I will also say that we're also doing these days no obligation sessions with investors who want to brainstorm any kind of business opportunity or sessions that you want to do with us. A 30-minute session that we can block either on Zoom or on telephonic calls. So we'll put our number in the chat box. And second, we're doing a very big event, which is first time in the history of franchising, is what I would say. And no company in the world would ever have done that event. We're starting with the Bharat franchise show. This is a 100-day series, which is back-to-back consecutive 100 days, where we'll reach out to the micro markets of India. So we have created these 61 important clusters where we will have everyday brands being presented. And the first event starts in the month of June, which is 1st of June, with the city Patna, which is followed by the other cities. We will also be happy to share the entire calendar of the month of June with all of you. And quickly, without taking much time, I will also request Mr. Maria to maybe give a brief introduction. And then I will request Venus to formally introduce Ms. Diana and the brand that we're presenting at the webinar today.
Thank you, Sonia, and welcome, friends. And this is our continuity of our series, which is going on, started from the last lockdown when we happened in April, and then we continued every single day. We bring a new opportunity. We are very, very excited for today's opportunity. It's a very well-known brand and very established franchise opportunity in Australia. And now we are privileged to have that opportunity being presented for Indian market. This opportunity should be for right kind of a long-term investors who are now looking for getting into fitness and want to commit themselves in a long journey of setting up their clubs and doing that. It's a huge opportunity for Indian market. India is one of the lowest penetrated market when it comes to fitness, and I think with the young population on our side and changing of our behavior and people becoming more conscious about themselves, I think this is a phenomenal amount of opportunity, and we are very delighted to have Diana with us. So I'd like to pass it on to Venus to formally introduce her, and then we get started on our webinar. I also would like to apologize. We had 1 or 2 minute delay in opening up because our last webinar got extended, and this should not happen. And my apologies to Diana also, because this should have been started on time. So over to you, Venus.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, Sonia, Archana, and the whole Franchiseindia team for again doing this consistently, day by day for more than a year now. So without wasting any time, I'm very, very excited today to have, for the very first time, introduce Fernwood Fitness. Now, what is really unique about Fernwood is it is a fitness only for women. And Diana, who actually is with us today, she's the founder of Fernwood Fitness, and she really, has made Fernwood Fitness. Now I think it has over 70 plus studios in Australia, the #1 brand in Australia, which again is a fairly mature market in fitness. And having been able to set up such a strong brand and business for such a long period of time, only in women fitness. And I can relate to it personally as a woman, and as somebody, of course, now with this whole lockdown and this period, we are struggling with our fitness. So I think it is, it's very interesting opportunity for India. And in last couple of months, we have been able to work with Diana and her team to really build a very effective, sustainable, very near to the ground model for India. So I'm very excited to have Diana today. Diana, welcome, and very much looking forward to hear from you with regards to Fernwood Fitness, and of course, and how we can bring this to India.
Well, thank you, Venus. I'm also very excited to be able to present my Fernwood brand to India. It's very exciting for me, and I see it as a huge opportunity. I'll start off just by telling you a little bit about how Fernwood started, which was over 30 years ago now. I used to go to a gym, and it was a mixed gym. There weren't any women's gyms back then, and I saw an opportunity to see why women needed to have a place of their own where they'd have all the special little touches that women appreciate, and but still a serious gym. At that stage, I had no idea that it was going to be a national brand or an international brand. It was just something I saw that women wanted, and it turned out that I was right. I opened up my first gym and it wasn't very long before there were a lot of other opening up. Do you want to put the PowerPoint on, Rahul?
Sure, sure. If I can ask Rahul or Anshul to please put up the presentation. So Diana will take us through the whole journey as well as the complete model of Fernwood Fitness. I think
Thank
it's
you very
there.
much. Yes, and we can go through past the first two slides, Rahul. And so I started Fernwood back in 1989, and it was immediately a very big success. As I said, I didn't realize it was going to be as successful as it was. And it wasn't very long before I had people coming up to me saying, I would love to open one of these where I live, or I would like this to be in a town where I live, because it was a very unique thing to have a gym just for women. That got me thinking about the idea of expansion. And I thought, how am I going to expand to bring this brand to life in other places? Because I was a very focused business owner, and I was very intent on making sure our members got the very best service. I was concerned if I opened up other businesses myself, I wouldn't be able to have that level of service, that high level of service that women appreciate when they go to the gym. And so that's why I decided to go down the franchising path. And that's been one of the key reasons why Fernwood has been successful, is because we've franchised it. So every franchisee that runs their clubs, they focus on their members, they make sure their members are getting results, they care about their members, and they care about the bottom line. And this is why they're more profitable and our members are happier. So we have very high retention rate. You could move on to the next slide. Thanks, Rahul. So 30 years on, we have two brands actually. We have Fernwood Fitness and Fernwood Ultra. And I see in India, we would probably have a combination of the two, because we would have a smaller footprint. So Fernwood Fitness has been around for 30 years. It's a full service gym. It's got group fitness, it's got group training, it's got weight training, and all of the things that any major gym would have. Fernwood Ultra is more of a mindfulness gym, a wellness studio where we have reformer Pilates and yoga and more passive exercises as well. So it's a much smaller footprint, a little bit less expensive to fit out, and not what I see in India is a combination of these two brands. Both brands are successful, and as I said, Fernwood's been around for a long time. The Ultra brand is a relatively new brand, so it's only just been developed over the last couple of years. And of course, with lockdown, we haven't had much of a chance to get that going. Next slide, thanks, Rahul. So, as I said, today we've got more than 70,000 members. We've got, I think, about 74 clubs that are open now. We have been expanding recently, and we see now an opportunity to take our brand globally. Next slide, thanks, Rahul. So just to tell you a little bit about the kind of things that we offer in Fernwood, we have a lot of different programs. Some of them our members pay extra for, and some of them they as part of their membership. We have Reformer Pilates, which is very, very popular. We have Fernwood Fit Right and also Fernwood Fit 30. They're more high intensity exercise programs to get really fast results, and it's quite an intense workout. Fernwood Fit Right is a little bit less intense, more passive. We offer personal training, which our members pay more for. So our members pay extra for personal training, Fernwood Fit Right, for Fernwood Fit 30, and for Reformer Pilates. We also have Cell IQ, which is a laser treatment to treat cellulite. And that's very popular with the ladies who have that extra bit of cellulite on their legs or their midriff or whatever, and that's very popular and a very good profit maker. We have also yoga. Some of our clubs have creche, but we probably wouldn't maybe have the child minding in our Indian model. We have food coaching, and we also have a lot of online programs with recipes and meal plans to help our members lose weight. So it's not just about exercise; it's also about weight loss, and we have a wellness program as well called Empower, where, as you know, these days everybody is having a lot of anxiety and stress. So our Empower program takes our members through a journey of 6 weeks to help them overcome all of those issues relating to anxiety and depression, to make them help them have a more balanced life and be able to overcome all of those mental health issues, or something that might end up becoming a mental health issue down the track. Next slide, thank you, Rahul. So basically our story, we've been around for a long time. We've been around for 30 years. We've seen a lot of our competitors come and go, and we basically stick with what we know best. We don't try to copy our competitors. We do what we do best, and we stay to our core purpose of empowering women to shine. So we've slowly and strategically grown over the years to be a very solid and well-respected brand in Australia. We are a leader in our field and a very well-respected brand in Australia. And that's because we don't try and copy the competition. We stay very much in tune to what we do and what we do best. We do change as the market changes. We also change in some of our offerings when women have changed over the years and what they want, but we don't follow trends. We do what we do best. You could say that we're a community of women, and all of our members, they come just to be there, just to communicate with other women, not only just to exercise, but to have a bit of a place where they can have time out for themselves, have some social interaction with other ladies, have a cup of tea. Sometimes they don't even do a workout. Sometimes they just come and have a cup of tea and a chat to some of the other members. It's a very social community of women, and not just a gym. A lot of our focus is on our members staying and retaining our members. We're not the kind of fitness gym that just sells memberships and hopes the members don't come. We're very much wanting our members to stay for a long time, and they do. So we have a very high retention rate with our members. We have another slide. Thanks, Rahul. Or another slide. There. Oh, no, that's it. Thank you. So as I said, we've built a very large network of health clubs around Australia for women. We don't really have any strong competition. We're not like all of the other gyms. We are different. Women gravitate towards us because we are specific and we're designed by women for women. And we do have men who are franchise owners, but the service is offered for women, and our staff are all female. We see ourselves as experts in women's health. We have a lot of training to make sure our staff are very tuned to the needs of women, whether it's women's health issues, no matter what age group, it might be menopause or prenatal or whatever the issue is. We have a lot of training for our staff, and we would do that in India as well, to keep all of our staff up to date with the latest information about women's health. Maybe next slide. So as I said, we are exclusively for women, and we are very much a supported franchise model. So our franchisees are very important to us. We in partnership with them. We don't just sell a franchise and don't worry about whether they're going to be successful. Their success is our success. So we focus very heavily on making sure our franchisees are successful, with training them and helping to make sure that they are on the right track to make the profits they should be making. We have a lot of training. A lot of that is uh, online. So, but we also have in-club training as well. But a lot of training modules and webinars and conferences, things to get everybody together to make sure that they're as educated and up to date as they can be. We also have a lot of our franchisees mixing together so that they can help each other. We buddy up our franchisees with other franchisees so they can help each other. So it's a very much not only just a community of members for our women, for our members, it's also a community of franchisees. And we do stay ahead of ahead of trends. We see ourselves as a trendsetter rather than a follower. We spend quite a bit of energy on research, making sure that what we're doing is accurate and up to date. And we work with the university here in Australia to make sure that everything that we're doing is current. So we're on to moving globally now. We see an opportunity to take our brand internationally, and we'll continue to grow in Australia as well as around the world. Have we got another slide there, Rahul? I think we're probably just about there, aren't we? Yes. So currently we have 74 clubs in Australia. I think this slide said 70, under 70, but we've grown recently. So we've just opened another 4 clubs in Australia, and we're very excited about the opportunity of taking our brand to India.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you very much for a great start to this session and introduction to the brand. I will now take this India opportunity and India fitness market here onwards. Thank you very much. Our investors, this is what we're looking at in terms of the market opportunity in India today from a fitness brand point of view. Of course, the market is growing at 11%, almost 60% organized now, with many chains, many brands setting up, multiple outlets, multiple units, and setting up chains. And as you can see the numbers, about 25,000 organized gyms and studios in the country, right? Still, the market is vastly underpenetrated if we compare it with some of the more developed markets like US and some countries in Europe also. We are vastly underpenetrated. This brand today, Fernwood Fitness, as Diana mentioned, this is a women exclusive gym, a very unique concept. We've not had this sort of gym setups in India as of now. So one of its first kind to come in India. Of course, would be leveraging on the opportunity, and in terms of the underpenetrated market, uh, we see more and more brands coming in, setting up their units, and also more and more young customers, young people in the country today are taking up gymming as a way to stay fit and healthy, right? Uh, on the next slide, yes, thank you very much. So we have listed some of the exercise preferred by the Indians, and as you can see, gymming is number 2, of course, after walking and so walking typically people prefer doing, but then gymming is number 2 on that list. We've also listed down some of the activities that are typical exercise uh, doing young customers today they know about. So aerobics, Zumba, martial arts, bodyweight training, kickboxing. So these are top 5 sort of activities that people know about, and they want to explore these activities, right? And that's where Fernwood, with its set of activities focused around aerobics and Zumba, makes it very interesting project for this market. Then we have also looked at in terms of what is the customer base available today, and as you can see, we're also seeing over next 10 years, this 10 years period, there would be a vast shift from a lower mid to people moving to upper mid category. So which means we're looking at significantly improving affordability. We also see people willing to spend money in terms of maintaining their health and wellness. So this augurs well for the fitness industry overall. This chart talks about what we see in each category in terms of premiumization and introduction of new categories or buying more of the same. As you can see in health and fitness, we see premiumization happening around 10% of the market moving towards premium segment. Though Fernwood is not a premium offering, but being a women exclusive gym concept, we'd like to place it in that category, which is a new segment, a new category in this industry. This slide talks about in terms of where is the customer available. And as you would imagine, this is our metros and boom towns, which is where the company is also very keen to set up its clubs across India. Right. So focus would be on starting with Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, the top three markets in three zones, and then add other markets. And as you would see in the next few slides, we would be talking about setting up area master franchisees, their roles and responsibilities, and the sort of rollout we want to do. Uh, some of the growth drivers and some of the challenges that we've seen in this industry. Growth drivers, of course, as we've mentioned before, sedentary lifestyle, increasing incidence of chronic diseases. People want to now focus on health and wellness. There is a lot more awareness about staying fit and healthy. Entry of global players, increase in female clientele. That, of course, is a very exciting trend that favors Fernwood in India today. Across the gymming industry, if you see of last 3 to 5 years period, there has been a massive shift in terms of the customer mix at a unit level, right? Which was predominantly a male oriented. Now we see a larger presence of females also at the gyms, right? Small format fitness clubs in demand, and you would see many clubs now they want to focus on doing very efficient models around 2000 to 3000 square feet formats, and not do the large formats of 5 6000 7000 square feet. So some of these interesting trends. We also see penetration in tier 2, tier 3 markets, which is also opening up to the concept. Uh, where people have money to spend, but they don't have venues to go to, and there is a demand for better products and services in these markets also. Right. Next slide, please. So on this slide, we then look at what is the competition presence in India today. And we've looked at some of these gyms. This is, of course, not only women oriented, but across the gymming industry. Talwalkar's, Gold Gym, Fitness One, and Pink. So Fitness One, of course, has this Pink brand, which is a women oriented, but very few uh, gyms they've done. Snap Fitness, Fitness First, both international brands. Then Anytime, again, Fluid Fitness, Sports Fit, Ozone. So some of these names have done well in the market. Of course, under pandemic, you would see some of them not doing very well also. But in terms of the organized structure or market share, the workers and golds, of course, hold about 60%, while we continue to add other brands and they continue to hold share in this market. So next section, we talk about why Fernwood Fitness National Support Office, which means you get complete support in terms of the operations. So first with design and branding, setting up the units, then operational support, member administration, there's support in IT and help desk, marketing and communication. So whatever company has understood and learned in Australia in terms of creating the right marketing, communication, operations, designing and branding. So all that learning, experience and expertise from Australian market is brought to India, customized to Indian requirements, and help you set up a very efficient club in India.
Diana, you want to come in here and just add on to what Anshul has shared?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Venus. Yes, we are. We've been obviously 30 years in improving and streamlining our business and the way we support our franchisees. A lot of that is online. We have quite an extensive online training programs and the ability to be able to communicate, because Australia is a very widely spread country. We don't have as many people as you have in India, and so it takes a long time to get from one city to another, and so traveling is difficult. So we are very well equipped to be able to provide a very high level of support with a lot of online programs. And having said that, we also have an online program for our members. So our members have their own online portal where they get all of their information and their exercises and meal plans. So even if they can't come to the gym, they can still be part of the membership. And I'd also like to say also that we're not only young women, a lot of middle-aged women also love coming to Fernwood. So it's not just for the young women, it's women of all ages will come to Fernwood, which is very, they get a lot out of it. It changes their lives. It's a very rewarding business when our members come up to us and tell us how much that Fernwood has changed their life, because they're so much healthier and fitter, because as they're getting older, they're not joining because they want to maybe look amazing, they want to feel amazing. And so it makes a big difference to them and how they feel. So, and the next slide, thanks, Rahul. Talk a little bit.
I think that's a very important point that Diana has mentioned in terms of the target customers. I'm sorry. So just want to highlight, so that's a very important point that Diana has mentioned in terms of the target customers. So we're not only focusing on young girls to come in the clubs, it is also, catering to a middle-aged women who want to, become smarter, fitter, healthier, for example. And so that it is catering to a very large audience, not just the young female in the market, in the country. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. We have members that are, in their 70s or 80s even coming to the gym, and it's not uncommon to have 3 generations of members all coming to work out, which is really lovely. So we cater for all women, and that's one of the special things about what we do. I was just going to briefly mention about our fit outs. We have a very comprehensive fit out guide, and we change our fit out maybe every 5 or 6 years to keep it all fresh and new. It's not an expensive fit out, but it's a very, it looks lovely. It's what women like. We have a members lounge area, which you can see in the bottom of that photo there, where our members can come and sit and have a cup of tea or coffee and a chat. So it's not just about a whole lot of gym equipment. It's a social interaction place as well, and members enjoy that just as much as they do, or probably they enjoy it more than working out sometimes. The next slide, thanks, Rahul. And this is just some of our franchisees. We have a lot of these 3 franchisees that you see here are all actually multi-unit franchisees. Sylvia has 4 clubs, Ganeet has 3, and Anthony has 5. So not all of our franchisees are just single operators. Some of them have more than 1 club. They're very successful franchisees. So they work with each other and they work with other franchisees. We have a what we call a mastermind program where we group our franchisees together so they can help each other as well as us helping them. As I said earlier, it's a very much a community of franchisees that like working together, and because they're they're all like-minded business people who have the same goal in mind, and they're wanting to each learn from each other and share ideas, because they're not in competition with each other. They're all working together for the one brand, and it's a very unique situation to have a whole lot of businesses in the same market, but they're not competitors, and it works very well. I don't know if this is
Diana, if I can, ask an additional question here. It's very interesting. You really kind of use the very right word, by women for women. I think, which of course, and again, I've met you and I've met your team. You really kind of walk the line when you say that you have a full your whole team is actually women. So it's just, I think you're living the brand there. Now, I think I just wanted to sort of you to add further on to that in terms of profile of your franchisees. I would imagine that you would have a much bigger concentration of women entrepreneurs buying into this opportunity. Also, are your franchisees existing club owners, or these are new investors who are just getting into fitness for the first time? How does that look like in Australia?
Yeah, so where do our franchisees come from? Is that what you're asking me?
That's correct.
Yeah, so, well, some of them are investors, like Anthony there, the gentleman you can see in the picture. He used to work for a big corporation. He wanted a change of lifestyle, and saw he could make some good wealth by putting his superannuation into the fitness industry and growing his business that way. Some of our franchisees are husband and wife. Some of them are, Anthony has a daughter, so she's one of his key people, and his wife. We have a couple of franchisees who are men, but they, of course, are only working in the background, and they are managing the ladies who are working in the club. So they don't necessarily come from the fitness industry. What we want in a franchisee who's somebody who's got some commercial acumen. They're business-minded people. They know what needs to happen to run a business. It's a very lovely business, Fernwood, and it's a very rewarding business. But at the end of the day, we're there to make money. So we need people who want to grow their wealth, not just have a nice feel-good business, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
So we need very successful business people who are obviously have the passion for what we do, but also have the passion for running a successful business.
Sure, makes sense.
Yeah. What's the next slide? I'm not sure where. Oh, okay, right. So,
well, if I can ask my colleague Anshul to come in.
Yes. So that brings us to what we propose for the Indian market. As I mentioned earlier, so companies, of course, looking at setting up area master franchisees, each so North Zone, West Zone, and South Zone, each with a minimum commitment to do 12 units in the territory. And of course, this is a minimum commitment. We can, of course, go as per the demand in the market, and this can be 25, 30 units also. For example, if I look at South, there is ample opportunity available in Bangalore, Mysore, then Hyderabad, Vizag. If you look at Chennai, Coimbatore, Kochi, so these 7, 8 cities, and if you want to include, smaller markets also, so at least 10 cities can easily give you 25 units rollout in South. Similarly, West, if you look at Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Indore, Surat, Vadodara, Ahmedabad. So again, at least 10 cities are there where 25 to 30 units can be done. And similarly, we can list down some cities in North as well. So 25 to 30 units per region is definitely possible. Overall, 100 units in India over next 5 years is what we should look at.
Anshul, could you please share some more light on how you define an area? Because this looks like, oh, okay, so that's a good slide, because people,
Yes.
because you mentioned area, but then I think you were talking about region.
Correct. So that's how we have defined the area master or regional master franchise.
Yeah.
As you can see, all the cities that I mentioned for South and West. Similarly, for North, Delhi NCR, Chandigarh, Ludhiana, Jaipur, Lucknow, Kanpur, Dehradun. All of these are very exciting cities, very exciting markets, and fast-growing markets for a concept like Fernwood. East also there is potential, but we may have to club that with North itself, because we see potential from Kolkata, maybe Ranchi, Jamshedpur, Bhubaneswar, maybe Patna. Overall, maybe about 7, 8, 10 stores potential in that market. So it can be clubbed with North as well, while South and West could be two independent zones.
Sure. So, Anshul, what you're saying is, you mentioned area. So, actually, what we're looking for is regional master, since I think Dinah and team have also, agreed on that that the sub franchisee would be brought in.
Yes, so the regional master franchisee, of course, has rights to sub-franchise. The master franchisee would need to set up the first unit, and then can go on bringing in the smaller investors as sub-franchisees.
Yeah, so I think the way our team and Fernwood team have sort of really put together, we have divided India into 4 different regions, and of course,
Yes,
in India, we have also specified in what are the main cities which would be, let's say, right for a model like Fernwood, and you can see those cities. And we have put together what we call a regional master franchise structure, in which Anshul will share how does that look like. Anshul, am I
yes,
correct?
that's right. Yes. On the next few slides, we have the financial structure also coming up. Here you are. So first, in terms of the membership fees, uh, and these are the proposed numbers. We can, of course, further look at some correction as per the demand in the market. Uh, 1 month is about 4,500, and then an annual package for 42,000. That's the fee structure we're looking at, uh, right? In terms of the unit model, then we're looking at 200 to 250 square meter, or about 2,500 square feet sort of setup. Initial investment of about 1.25 crores. This includes equipment, 85 lakhs, and franchise fee of 30,000 Australian dollars, which converts to 16.8 lakhs. Rest 25 lakh rupees is towards interior fit outs, pre-opening expenses, property deposits, and many other things, right? In terms of the revenue, so this facility of 200 to 50 square meter, it gives an annual capacity of 400 members. And given the fee structure and the revenues that we see, we see a potential to do 4 crore annual revenue. This, of course, would be year 3, 4 sort of numbers. And this, we have 4 revenue streams. One is your membership fee as per the chart. Then personal training, very important segment, merchandise, and nutritional products. So all 4 revenue streams add up to give you this 4 crore annual revenue. This you should be able to hit by year 3, and is what we understand, right? In terms of the expenses, so we have a fixed royalty of 50,000 Australian dollar annual, which should convert to about 28 lakh rupees. That is annual payout. A central marketing fee of 24,000. So what this does is this makes it net earning of 400,000 Australian dollars, which converts to uh, roughly about 1.5 crores. I mean, you can. So this gives an ROI over under 2 years, right? At a unit level. On the next slide, we have, yeah. So on the next slide, we have the regional master franchise, and this is what we're looking at today. So as Venus mentioned, we're looking at dividing India into equal opportunity clusters, 3 to 4 partners in the country. each with the potential to do 25 units over 5 years. Of course, rights to sub-franchise, first unit to be set up by the master, and rest can be sub-franchisees. A master fee of 350,000 Australian dollars, which is approximately 2 crores, and an overall investment of 550,000 or a 3 crore investment, which is 2 crore master fee plus 1 crore in the setting up the first unit. Apart from this, the franchise fee that you would collect from the sub-franchisees and the royalty that you collect from the sub-franchisees, you pay 30% to the company, 70% is retained by the master franchisee. So that is again a very exciting prospect. The franchise fee and royalty collected from your network, you get the lion's share, you get 70%, company takes just 30% from that, right? Uh, so what this means is there's a potential ROI within 2 years for the master franchisee as well. We are also open to do a multi-unit deal where all these 25 units you may want to do all by yourself. So we can share details on that as well. On the next slide, please. Yes, so last, in terms of how do we get started, of course, this is the process that we would like to follow. Understand each other better. Then we set up a discovery day. We would like to understand more about your financials, your experience and expertise, your current work. Uh, then there is an approval. We then work together to get the locations in the market, and finally sign off and you know get started. Right. So with that, I would like to invite Venus to take over, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Anshu. Sonia, you there?
Yeah, very much. Thank you so much, Venus and Dinah, for coming and presenting. And I think this was a very wonderful presentation. We almost talk about every aspect with respect to the industry. And I like to add, we're living in an era of wellness and very conscious living. And regardless of the age of women, they're taking steps to better their own active lifestyle and their health. And the female fitness industry, I would say, is at the forefront of the wellness movement also. And globally, the fitness industry is seeing a growth in gyms catering to only women with the aim to help them feel more comfortable while working out, especially when we talk about the Indian market also. There's a big target audience of women which have inhibitions, and we talked about not only the millennials but middle-aged women. So this industry aims to empower women of all shapes, sizes and ethnicities, which is very important. And also a lot of programs, I'm sure globally there are many programs which are women centric, apart from boxing, CrossFit and bodybuilding, which we are seeing across centers. But there are also some specialized programs which women centric gyms would do for pregnant women and maybe new moms. So Dana, just to start off with, while we talked about various programs, I wanted you to maybe start with giving an overall view of how we differentiate ourselves with the respect to the other gyms in the women industry. If you can give maybe a global perspective on that, because globally women centric gyms are very popular and there are many companies who are doing that. So would you want to give some kind of comparative analysis between how we have a differentiated edge over the others which are prevailing and performing maybe at industry at large, if you want to give a perspective on?
Me?
Yes, Diana.
All right, sorry, I wasn't sure whether it was Dennis or myself. Yes, well, I think the unique thing about Fernwood is there are a lot of gyms that have women only sections. They are part of a mixed gym that have catered for women, but they're not run by women for women, so they don't totally quite hit the mark as far as what Fernwood does with what women want. The other part, there are a few small studios for women, but they're not the full, they don't offer all of the services that Fernwood offers. Fernwood offers everything from food coaching to personal training to wellness programs to Pilates to Zumba whatever strength training. Actually, Fernwood started about with strength training when I went to the gym 30 years ago. One of the reasons I wanted to start a women's gym is because I found that the benefits of strength training and weight training was quite remarkable, and yet women didn't do it because it was most uncomfortable to do weight training in a mixed environment for a lot of women. And so that's why I went down the path of opening a Fernwood, so that women would experience the benefits that I found when I started doing weight training, because it's something that men do, but these days more women do it. But back then there were no women doing weight training at all. They just did aerobics, and never got the same results. So the strength training is a very important part of what Fernwood does, but there's also yoga and Pilates and a whole lot of other various things. So sometimes our members feel like doing a very intense workout, and sometimes they don't feel like doing much at all. They just want to do some meditation or some yoga or Tai Chi. So we basically offer every aspect of what a woman wants as part of their wellness program. It's not just about being fit. It's not just about losing weight. It's not just about being toned. It's a whole lot of things. And because the whole concept is put together by women, we understand what women want, and we can give our members exactly what it is that they need.
Sure, absolutely. Dana, now coming, and staying at the business model. So overall, we understand there are two models that we want to take to the market. And rather, to start off with, we're looking at area franchise model, and we will have subunits coming under the area franchise. I like to maybe give a little understanding on the operating expenses. While we covered on the capex, which is required for both area as well as unit, if you want to give also from maybe your international experience of running these centers in your markets, typically what are the operating expenses which are incurred in the outlet, and also most importantly, on the training aspect, especially appointment of staff, and also I would say training of the franchise partners. So how is that structured as far as the training part is concerned? Would you have all that done from a trainer, and is it train the trainer program? And if you can maybe little bit help us understanding this piece too. So one is on the training, Dana, and the other is on the operating expenses typically for an outlet center.
Yes, the main operating expenses in Australia is wages, the cost of staff. But of course, it's the cost of staff in India is not as great as it is in Australia. So that's a big benefit in Australia. And of course, rent, that's another cost, of course. They're the main operating expenses, is wages and rent, and of course, marketing. A lot of the marketing these days is done on digital marketing, so it's not as expensive as it used to be when we had to go on television or whatever. So that's not quite as extensive as it was. But the wages is probably the wages and rent would be the main ones. A few other minor things like insurance and those sorts of things. But with regard to training, well, we have a lot of training modules which we can train the employees to be fully qualified in Pilates or group fitness or whatever. We have the ability to train. If they, I think there's quite a lot of qualified fitness staff in India anyway, but we will still train them to be at the level that we want them to be, especially in women's health, and to become an expert in women's health, and also to have the right attitude and have the right personality to make sure that our members are having the very best time.
Sure. And then now staying there, now when we talk about, training, and since we're offering, a gamut of fitness solutions for various needs, it also requires a lot of specialized staff and training. And when we talk about manpower, how is that segregated? How many specialized manpower do we have at the center? And is there also manpower which can be part-time? Because a lot of these classes also depend upon how many maybe members we have for that class. So between maybe a part-time and maybe a a full-time kind of employment structure, specialized trainers, what do you typically see the ratio in? And yeah.
Manpower or woman power in our case. Is that right? Okay. I suppose it would be an effective full time of 4 or 5, but there a lot of them are casual and part time. They're not full time. Yeah.
And how many, is there a special trainer who would be there at any given point in time? So I wanted to understand, is there a ratio based on what you've been doing maybe in the Australian markets as to how much of specialized staff would you need at any given point in time?
Well, it depends on when the busy times are. If our members are coming in, that's why they're part-time. That's why they're not full-time. There might be, I'm not too sure about the movement of women in India, but in Australia, they come in the morning before work, and then they come at lunchtime, and they come at night. Although now we've had lockdown and people are working from home, they're coming during the day a lot more. So depending on when our members are in the club, it depends on how many staff we have. We might have a lot of staff that are in the evening because there's a lot of members in there. We might only have one staff during the day when there's not too many members in there. So it all depends on when the members are in there as to how many staff we need on. And then of course, if we're running classes like Zumba or something, well, we'll have a Zumba instructor to come in and do their class as well.
Very helpful, Diana. And there's some questions, Venus, if I can request you, if you want to take up on, especially on the membership side, typically, how are we charging? And we did see some of the revenue sources. So what is the average ticket size we are assuming for India? If you want to take questions with respect to that. And we've talked about 400 members, in a span of 1 year, and I'm sure that takes some time to reach that number. So would you want to maybe suggest, advise our maybe, viewers on typically what is gestation time, how long it takes for maybe a center to reach that level of 400?
Okay, so you talk very quickly. It depends when we open a club. We usually sell our memberships before we open. So we have a lot of members signed up before we open the doors. And it could take maybe 6 months. We might have enough members signed up before we open the door, or it might take 6 months for them to grow to that 400 members. It just depends on, a lot on the franchisee and their ability to know how important it is to get those membership sales coming in.
I did see some questions coming in, and friends, one of the questions which I saw was on franchisee owned, company operated. So the company is only offering a franchisee owned, franchisee operated model, and to start off with, it will be area franchisee for a region, and all the sub units, sub franchisees will come under the area franchisee, which has to be owned and operated by them. And I did see somebody asking on the royalties. These are excluding GST, of course, and any amount which is billed would be plus the GST. I think this was a question from Mr. Ajay. I saw from the audience. So, Venus, I'll request if you want to pick any questions, or you want to, add anything
Sure.
your end as a maybe last few remarks towards the closing.
Thank you, Sonia, for putting forth, the major, of course, queries which any investor would have. I think we actually did, this was quite comprehensive, but there's only one sort of, if Diana can add, in terms of location in Australia, how, where are the Fernwood actually located? Are these right beside the normal like gyms we have? So if you can shed some light on that, because I'm really curious. I'm sure a lot of investors would be curious. How does that typically looks like in Australia? And we can, of course, compare that with India as well.
Of course, yeah, we can be right next door to a mixed gym. It doesn't matter. It's a very densely populated space, the fitness industry in Australia. There are a lot of clubs around on every corner. So it's not uncommon to have 3 or 4 gyms competition within 100 or 200 meters of our club, because we are different. in the demographic, it's probably a little bit more residential than in business,
Sure.
the business district. Okay, but it's predominantly, it's just where women are that want to get fit. So pretty much everywhere.
No, I think that makes sense, and that's really interesting. It has happened with the salon business in India. Every decent neighborhood in the top 15 cities in India, has multiple chain salons, both unisex, specific for women, specific for men, and the neighborhood residential commercial spaces would be ideal for Fernwood, because you would not want our women members to ride, let's say, for 30 minutes. It's just
No.
not possible for a woman. So
No.
I think that's very interesting for India. And I guess Sonia can also add over here is that opening women-centric fitness centers in the residential neighborhoods, I think more maybe premium to mass premium neighborhoods would actually make a lot of sense rather than the commercial spaces which a lot of other gyms would take up.
We go into shopping centres. We do have shopping centres, but around not in the business district, you know what I mean, not in a office space, more in the shopping space where women shop.
Malls, shopping centers.
Yeah.
Sonia, does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think premium neighborhood makes a lot of sense because, when we're targeting a big audience, especially from the women, which are also a lot of middle-aged women. So that absolutely makes a lot of sense. And then we could also be closer to a lot of these corporate hubs, which has a lot of professionals going in, and especially in India. And I'm sure that happens globally also. A lot of these gyms are housed inside these hubs where, the members can come maybe in the early hours of the morning, or maybe at the closing of the day. So these are two important I would say spots which ideally should be looked at. And since it is a membership, so we need to be close and we very convenient to our target audience or subscribers because they want it to be very close to their either workplaces or their residences. So absolutely, I think that makes
anything more than 10 minutes is a drag. So I guess locations would be very important for us. And Diana, I'm extending on what Sonia asked. Is in Australia, what is your typical target when you open a fitness center for Fernwood in terms of pre-opening memberships? Do you have a target which you typically give to your franchisees that you should ideally have these memberships signed up before you open the store?
Yes, well, the numbers are a little bit different in Australia. We've got two clubs opening up at the moment. They're due to open in 6 weeks' time, both of them, and currently have got about 400 members each, and they plan on getting about 600 or 700. But we have more members in Australia because we have bigger footprints, right? So we can take more people. But it depends on, I think, you plan on getting at least 70% of what you need before you open.
Okay, so that's a good point of reference. I think 60 to 70% of your membership should be pre-memberships. And that's where Fernwood has worked in terms of their marketing communication, and that will come with the opportunity. So I think, Sonia, I can't see any more questions, and I know we are on top of our time also. Dinah, any closing comments from you before we end this?
No, I think that's it, Dana. Thank you. I'm very excited about the opportunity. I'm looking forward to meeting some of our franchisees when they come on board eventually after they do their due diligence and discover what we're all about. I'm looking forward to that very much, but of course that all takes time.
Absolutely, Dinah, and again, Fran Global and us as a team, of course supported by Franchiseindia, are very privileged and excited. I do believe as a woman and as a working woman that we do need women-centric fitness centers, of course accessible with quality and everything. And I think Fernwood has that option. And I think it doesn't go without saying that Fernwood Fitness is actually a very pro-franchising organization. Your growth has been, franchising has been a force multiplier for you. So Dinah and her team are so really, in tuned and able and franchise focused. So that really helps. And the way we have built the franchise model, it would be very, it will come into very accessible franchise opportunities from a master franchise perspective within the price category, which is about 3 to 3.5 crores for a full region. So we have built this in hoping that we want to have a partner who can do this and can build a very successful business for themselves, definitely for the Indian market, and of course Dinah and her team. So I want to thank you, Dinah. I want to thank you, Franchiseindia, Sonia, of course your team, Rahul, Anshul, Archana. Thank you so much for having us. And I look forward to have any feedback and response you would have. Thank you so much. And Sonia?
Great. Thank you so much, Venus. Thank you so much, Dinah and friends. We already have our contact details of Miss Venus Barak. She's put in the chat box. If you're keen to explore, discuss further, you may reach out to her in her office, and we'll help you connect with Dinah for any further communication that you wish to have, obviously over Zoom, that we can conclude maybe in this week and set up a time maybe early next week for all of you who are keen to explore further. And with this, I'd like to request Archana to kindly take it over for her closing remarks of the webinar.
Sure. So thank you so much, Diana, for joining in today, sparing time and presented your business model. We would like to thank Sonia ma'am, Venus, Rahul, Anshul for joining us today. Dear participants, thank you so much for joining us today. We would like to inform you that you can reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 9717683838. We also request you save this number in your phone book, because we are sharing regular updates through broadcast messages. Do join us at different social platform handles. We are available at Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. Do share your suggestion and feedback with us. Also join Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn IDs. Information on your screen. And today we want to invite you for our Chandigarh chapter under 30 days, 30 city shows, which will start at 7 p.m. We will try to bring top 5 business opportunities for you so that you can select the best opportunity for you and for yourself and for your family. So please do registration today for 7 p.m. show. And tomorrow we have 2 powerful brands to be invited for you guys under our powerful webinar series, which will start at 10 p.m. One brand is Remeses. They are into e-clinic, and second one is the jewelry retail brand Voila. So these 2 brands will come and present their business model tomorrow at 10 p.m. Do registration for this webinar. And under our business opportunity of a chai webinar series, we want to invite you for Pharma World. That's the leading medical chain. The team will come and present their business model. So for all the shows today, 7 p.m., tomorrow 10 p.m. and tomorrow 12 p.m., please do registration at business hotline number. Look forward to have you in all the webinars. Thank you so much for joining in today. Have a very safe day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, friends.